Chapter 8, Cousin Coincidence. Rosie was right. Fudge loved the gift shop. Everything in sight had a money motive. Everything. Shirts, socks, ties, pencils, notepads, snow globes, you name it, it was done up as money. This is better than the tour, Fudge sang, racing all around. He was fascinated by a 5-pound bag of shredded money containing a minimum of $10,000. You could buy it for $45. Pete, look! $10,000 all in one bag. Yeah, but it's shredded, so it's totally useless. I could try to glue it back together. Then we could buy every toy in the world. Even if you could glue it back together, it'd be counterfeit, I told him. If you tried to use it, you'd go to jail. Anyway, Dad said, $45 is way too much to spend. How about a $5 bag instead? The clerk suggested, holding one up. Fudge liked that idea. I'll get one for me and one for Richie. Richie Riches doesn't need shredded money, I told him. How about you, Pete? I don't need it either. I don't even want it. Okay, fine, Fudge said. Then I'll just get a bag for me. While Dad was paying, Fudge tore around the shop. How about this tie? He shouted. I have to have this tie. Mom, please, can I have this tie? Can I have this money tie? Mom hustled over to him. What are you going to do with the tie? Wear it, Fudge said. Please, Mom, pretty, please, with pistachio nuts on top. All right, Mom gave in. But that's it. What about Tootsie? Fudge said. Tootsie doesn't need anything from this shop, Mom said. She doesn't understand about money. Yet, Fudge said. Then he took off again, laughing like a lunatic. I turned to Mom and Dad. So you think he's cured now? They looked at me like I was the lunatic. Then Dad said, let's just get out of here. While he was collecting our things, Fudge raced back across the gift shop. Dad, he said, that guy is staring you out. What guy? Dad said. That one, Fudge said, pointing across the shop. Don't point, Mom told Fudge. It's not polite. Then how will Dad know which guy I mean? Good question, I said. It's pretty crowded in here. Peter, please, Mom said, shaking her head. Then she turned to Fudge. You can describe him instead of pointing. Okay, Fudge said. That guy who kind of looks like you is staring you out, Dad. It's not staring you out, I told Fudge for the 20th time at least. It's staring at you. Now some guy came across the room and walked right up to Dad. He was bigger, taller, and heavier than Dad. His voice boomed through the room. You have the Hatcher jaw and the Hatcher eyes, and if I didn't know better, I'd swear you must be a Hatcher. He stuck out his hand and introduced himself. Howard Hatcher of Honolulu, Hawaii. For a minute, Dad looked blank. Then he did a double take. No, he said. It can't be. Are you telling me you're Cousin Howie Hatcher? None other. And you're Cousin Tubby, aren't you? Cousin Tubby, Fudge said. I was thinking exactly the same thing, but I don't always say what I'm thinking the way Fudge does. I'm known as Warren now, Dad told Cousin Howie. Cousin Howie gave Dad a friendly punch in the shoulder. Lost a few pounds since we last met, huh? You were a real butterball in those days, he laughed. A big tub of lard. Dad sucked in his gut and stood up really straight. You got to work out, Tub, Howie said, sticking his finger in Dad's gut like Dad was the Pillsbury Doughboy. I do work out, Howie. Dad got a funny look on his face then, like he suddenly wished he'd told this guy he must be mistaken, like he had no long-lost cousin named Howie. Well, maybe you got to work harder, Cousin Howie said. Run a marathon or two. That struck me as weird because Dad was a lot less flabby looking than Cousin Howie, who had shifted his focus to Fudge and me. I stood up straight, shoulders back, stomach tight. See? That's why we used to call him Tubby, Cousin Howie said, as if we didn't get it by now. So, Tub, These handsome boys belong to you? Dad said, yes, this is my family, my wife Ann, Cousin Howie kissed Mom's hand. So you're the little lady who stole Tubby's heart. Mom looked like she might puke. And these are my sons, Dad said, Peter and Fudge. Fudge? Cousin Howie said. Now there's a name. Actually, it's Farley Drexel, Dad said. We just call him Fudge. Farley Drexel? Cousin Howie's voice was so loud I backed away. What a coincidence! Fudge pulled me aside. What's a coincidence, he asked. It's like when something just happens, something you didn't expect. We didn't expect Cousin Howie, did we? No, I told him. We definitely didn't expect Cousin Howie. But he's more of a surprise than a coincidence. Cousin Howie wasn't alone. He introduced us to his wife, Eudora, a chunky woman with freckles, a doll's mouth, and straw-colored hair. Sweetheart, he said, I want you to meet my long-lost cousin Tubby Hatcher. Warren, Dad said with a tight smile on his face. Right you are, Cousin Howie said. You keep reminding me of, and eventually I'll remember. Dad took a deep breath when Eudora gushed. I have heard so much about you over the years, Tubby. Warren, Dad said again. My name is Warren. Oh, of course, she said, laughing. You won't go by your boyhood nicknames anymore, would you? I mean, imagine a grown man called Tubby? That would be embarrassing, wouldn't it? Actually, Dad told her, Howie is the only person who ever called me Tubby. Is that right? Howie said. And I always thought everybody called you Tubby. Eudora smiled sweetly and told Dad, what a shame you lost touch with Howie's family and moved to Hawaii. I know how much Howie's missed you. After that, she took Mom's hand and said, I feel as if we're personally connected, don't you? Before Mom had a chance to answer, before she could say, why, no, I don't feel personally connected at all. Why would anyone in her right mind feel personally connected to you and Cousin Howie? Eudora gushed. This is just so wonderful. We didn't think we had any family left, and to find you this way, out of the blue. She pulled Mom close and hugged her until Mom was practically gasping for breath. Mom looked to Dad for guidance when suddenly Fudge said, It's a real coincidence. Eudora looked surprised. Why, yes, it is a real coincidence. I thought it was a pretty weird coincidence since Dad's never mentioned anything about a Cousin Howie to us, and there were still more family members to meet. Eudora whistled, and two girls about my age came over. Boys, she said to Fudge and me, meet your long-lost cousins Flora and Fauna Hatcher. They're named for the natural beauty of our islands, and that's just what we call them, our natural beauties. Fudge laughed. It came out sounding like a big hiccup. I gave him an elbow, and he covered his mouth with his hand. Isn't he the one who told me we don't laugh at people's names? Not that I didn't feel like laughing over Flora and Fauna too, but I was into proving I could control myself. It was partly of my new 7th grade maturity. Eudora went back to talking with Mom and Dad, leaving Fudge and me with the natural beauties. We're twins, one of them said. Identical, in case you didn't notice, the other one added. You want to know how to tell us apart? The first one asked. By your fingerprints, Fudge asked. In case you don't have access to your fingerprints, the second one said. I'm Flora, and I have a scar on my chin. She stuck out her chin and pointed underneath to her scar. See? Then the other one said, I'm Fauna, and I have a brown dot on my right eye, but you have to look really close to see it. Who'd want to? I was thinking as Fudge stood on tiptoe and peered into Fauna's right eye. How old are you? Flora asked me. He's 12, Fauna said, stretching back to her full height, which was just a little taller than me. How do you know that? I asked her. I can always tell, Fauna said. How old are you? I asked. How old do you think? Fauna said. I'm not into guessing, I told them. He's not into guessing, Fauna repeated to Flora, and they giggled. Why do girls giggle? I mean, do they really find things so hysterically funny? Or are they born that way? Want to know how old I am? Fudge asked. He didn't wait for them to answer. I'm 5, but I'll be 6 soon. I'm in a mixed group. What's mixed group? Flora asked. It's what comes after kindergarten if you're really smart, Fudge told her. Pete's in 7th grade. That's what grade we'd be in, Flora said. If we went to school, Fauna said, finishing for her. You don't go to school? Fudge asked. We're homeschooled, Fauna said. What's that? Our parents teach us at home, Flora explained. Who else is in your class? Fudge asked. No one, they answered together. Except our brother sometimes hangs around, Flora says. That's when I realized the little boy hiding behind her was part of the family. He's almost 4, Fauna said. And even though you can't tell, our mother is pregnant again, Flora whispered. Our mother was pregnant one time, Fudge said, also whispering. Only one time? Flora asked. She and Fauna looked at each other and giggled again. Isn't that right, Pete? How about 3 times, I said. Once with me, once with you, and once with our little sister. Oh, I forgot about you and me part, Fudge said. Then he danced around singing, I know how the baby got inside. We all do, I said, stopping him before he got started. This time, Flora and Fauna actually laughed. Then Flora stepped aside and said, This is our little brother, and if you think we have interesting names, wait till you hear this. It's Farley Drexel, Fauna announced. Farley Drexel? Fudge named. That's my name. It can't be, Flora told him. Well, it is, Fudge said, hands on his hips. But it's an old-fashioned name, Fauna said. Yeah, well, our fathers are cousins, remember? I said. You mean, Flora began. That Farley Drexel Hatcher, Fauna said, was your father's uncle, just like he was our father's uncle. Flora finished for both of them. I nodded. We can call him Fudge, I said. They call me Fudge, Fudge repeated. Everybody but my little sister calls me Fudge. She calls me Foo, but that's just because she can't say Fudge. Fudge, that's a great name, Fauna said. We've been trying to come up with a good name for Farley, Flora said. And Fudge is perfect, Fauna added. He can't have my name, Fudge told them. He already does, I reminded him. He has the Farley Drexel part, but not the Fudge. Fudge planted his feet wide apart and prepared to do battle. You can call him Farley, or you can call him Drexel, or you can call him FD, but you can't call him Fudge. That sounded familiar. I was wondering where I'd heard it before when Fudge nudged me and said, Remember when Ratface said that, Pete? Oh, yeah, I thought. Ratface, his first kindergarten teacher. Then I started to laugh. Little Farley growled. My name belongs to me, Fudge told them, in case they were in doubt. I own it. You can't own a name, Flora said. Can too, Fudge insisted. Little Farley growled again. Fudge looked at him. Can't he talk? Of course he can talk, Flora said. But he doesn't have to because, Fauna said, we say everything for him. Flora finished the sentence. Having a conversation with the natural beauties was like watching 2 guys playing a video game. You got dizzy from trying to follow it. When little Farley growled a 3rd time, Fauna said, he likes to pretend he's a bear or a lion, Flora added. I don't care if he's a bear or a lion, Fudge told them. He can't have my name. This time, little Farley bared his teeth. I think we should call him Fudgelet, Fauna said to her sister. Oh, Fudgekin, Flora suggested. Oh, I like that, Fauna said. She put her arm around her little brother. Why don't you just call him Minnie? I said. Minnie, Flora said. As in mouse? Fauna asked. No, I told him. As in Minnie Fudge. In case they didn't get it, I spelled it for them. M-I-N-I. Minnie Farley, Fudge shouted. Because there's only one Fudge, and that's me.